I am here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys with longtime Cowboys fan, Quincy Peaker, and I'm glad to have you on the show. I know when I put that thing up, you were the first one to respond. We're ready to talk a little bit about them boys because they are leading the NFC East right now after last year, a little bit of struggles with the injury of the Dak Prescott, but now they are firmly entrenched, a 2-game lead in the NFC East at this moment as we talk. So how long have you been a fan of the Cowboys, and what made you become a Cowboys fan?
I've been a fan of the Cowboys since about 01, 02. The first Cowboys game I ever watched was Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles on TV, and I just liked the Cowboys from that day forth.
Was there anything in particular that stood out about them? Like you said, you watched them and you fell in love with them. Anything in particular? Was the colors? Was it anything else? Sometimes people pick being a fan for the strangest reasons.
My main reason that I became a fan was because the line that they had at that year was just, they were just pushing people all over the place. I mean, the running back was just, he was getting untouched for 6 yards. That's what I fell in love with. I fell in love with the offensive line to begin with. And as you can see, we stay with a great offensive line.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And they are one of the strongest offensive lines. To you, what is your most memorable moment as a Cowboys fan? I know there's plenty to pick from, I know, over the past couple of decades, but what sticks out to you the most as a Cowboys fan?
The Dez Bryant catch. Oh, my gosh. That still eats me up to this day. I still say Dez Bryant caught that pass. It was a tough call.
And it's funny when you talk about all the different names that come through. And I remember when I started watching football in '94, so it's Aikman, it's Irvin, it's Emmitt Smith, it's Darren Woodson, it's Russell Maryland, Charles Haley. I know Kenton Norton Jr. played for a little bit before he went to San Francisco. There's plenty of guys. Shoot. Deion, of course. I mean,
Deion, I say prime time.
It's like when you think of all those names, it's like so many. And, when you think somebody who's older than me, who's, older than 38, they think about Staubach and all those other guys.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to think about how impactful that is, and especially how those names stick in your head years after they're finished playing too. That's the big
years.
Moose, I forgot. Moose Johnston.
Moose Johnson. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Them names are going to always stick.
Oh, yeah. Going into the season, what were the expectations? I know Dak missed a chunk of last season after that injury, and him coming back healthy, and then him also getting that contract extension. What were your thoughts about what Dallas could do this season with a healthy quarterback?
I knew Dallas could make some noise with a healthy quarterback, but like you said, coming back off of an injury is always a hard thing to do. And then you see how everybody been playing in the NFL after they get money. So I was scared about that too. And then that Redskins defense was crazy. Jalen Hurts was starting to find his way through with the Eagles. The Giants seemed like they were going to be so great with all them pieces they picked up, Kenny Galladay. So I was like, it's going to be good. The way we started, I was surprised. The way Dak played the first 3-4 games, I was like, oh, he's back.
What did you see that he did well compared to the past?
He's starting to really settle down, and instead of taking the sack, he's starting to learn to throw the ball away. He's gotten a lot more accurate. That was my main problem with Dak Prescott when we first got him, is his accuracy it wasn't there. He's got a lot more accurate. I mean, he looked like a veteran quarterback right now. He's playing great.
Was there a particular point in the season that you were feeling good that Dallas was making the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. Within the first 3 games, I mean, we lost to the Buccaneers by 2, the defending champions, Tom Brady, arguably the greatest of all time. We lost to them by 2 points. It was a great game. Put up 29 points on the defense that shut Patrick Mahomes and the number 1 offense down last season, the Super Bowl. In the beginning of the season, we looked great. It's always in your division. It's always hard to beat. We came out, beat the Eagles 41-21 by 20 points. We looked real good. We looked on fire. Things that started to slow down now.
Was there a particular game where you felt this team is not making the playoffs, regardless of how big of a lead they have in this division?
That Kansas City Chiefs game, 9-19, when you are the number 1 offense as far as points scored, averaging 34.2 points a game, and then you only can score 9 on a horrible, hurt Kansas City defense. I was like, if we make the playoffs, there's no way we make it out the first round. Not like that. It's no way. Your offense has to be able to put up points.
One of the questions I noticed that even though the Cowboys have been having success, Ezekiel Elliott has really been quiet. I know it's been more about Dak. I don't know if it's just a change in offensive philosophy with Mike McCarthy going more with his offensive things, going with Amari Cooper and all those other guys and all the other weapons, as opposed to what Jason Garrett would do, giving the ball to Zeke. But to you, what is going on with Zeke?
And man, Zeke, after he got that money, Zeke turned into a different bag. I said we bench Zeke and start Pollard is what I say. I say Pollard runs harder than Zeke at this point in time. The only thing that I can say about Zeke that I really love to see, Zeke blocks like a running back that's 600 pounds. Like he blocks oncoming linebackers, linemen that gets loose. We need that for Dak to have those great passes that he has when he has to extend the play. Zeke, if you look real close, Zeke is actually helping protect. But as far as running the ball, he's not there right now. It's not him. I'm hoping that he get his legs back by the time we get back into the deeper run into the playoffs. But without that running game, that's why we've been losing. You can't win a game with Dak got to throw the ball 45 times a game. You just can't do it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I'm looking at the stats. I was surprised, even in 11 games, he has 720 yards, which it seems quiet as opposed to in the past where, he didn't have big games. And even then, he could be on a decent pace. He's going to break 1,000 yards barring any injury. And his average per carry, 4.5 yards per carry, is actually probably his best since 2019 when he had almost 1,360 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing bad, but like I said in the beginning, with that offensive line, you don't have to do too much. Like Zeke, when you run up the middle, Zeke's getting 3 yards before he's even touched. So, I mean, it's not hard to average 4.5 yards a carry when you're getting 3 yards per touch.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you think about it, it's surprising. He's only 26, and they normally say the decline for a running back is about 30, and maybe a little sooner than that. But looking at it, 1,500, almost 1,600 carries in his career, and he's had, again, his worst season was last year, and prior to that, it was 2017 when he only played in 10 games. But, I mean, he's easily going to bounce back. He might find the fountain of youth like some running backs do this time of the year, especially when it's hand the ball off to the running back. Yeah, playoff push. Weather's getting colder. Wind's going to knock passes down. The guys are going to get the ball to carry. But it's weird. The more I look at the numbers, it's like, yeah, he's having a quiet season, but he's still solid so far.
He's still doing what he's supposed to do. The thing that we have, the problem that we have with Zeke is that he can't get those 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s that we need. And it's ended up in field goals, and then Greg Zuerlein's missing those. He's not he's not doing too great with the field goals. And then Tony Pollard's trying to do what he can do. But our main concern right now is converting on 3rd down and keeping the offense on the field.
Looking at the NFC playoff picture, who do you feel like Dallas matches up the best with in the NFC? I know a lot of teams, Arizona, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, a lot of those things are already set. And then, there's plenty of other teams that may bring up the field in the wild card. But who do you think Dallas matches up the best with in the NFC?
In the NFC matchup with the best, most likely, I say the Los Angeles Rams at this point in time. They on like a 3-4 game skid. We on like a 3-game skid. They just picked up Odell. The chemistry has to get right there. We still working on things. We got DeMarcus Lawrence coming back. We got Amari Cooper. They're missing 2 games. So our chemistry is going to be all out of whack as well.
And then looking at the field in the NFC, who's the team that scares you the most? Is it Arizona? Is it Tampa? Is it Green Bay?
Tampa and Green Bay they're gonna scare me every year because of who they got under center. Like those 2 quarterbacks under center make things happen with nobody. Like, you know what I mean? We didn't know who Chris Hogan was before there was a Brady. You know what I mean? Like that's what they do. So they're gonna scare you anyway. And then a team that's a sleeper, they're not really a sleeper, Kyler Murray, and then they have to get pieces together. But with DeAndre Hopkins out there, the way Christian Kirk is playing at this moment in time, their defense is top tier right now. The NFC is stacked, but the team that scares me the most at this point in time will probably be the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and I know especially now things are getting a little crazy with adding a 7th team in the playoffs in each conference. Now, the number 1 seed is important because you definitely get a first round bye.
Yes.
Before it used to be the top 2. Now, if you're the 2 seed, you get the 7th seed. And depending on where everybody is, you'd rather be maybe the 3 seed. You might get somebody like, looking at the standing, you don't want to face a team like you might face Washington. And again, that would be the crazy thing. You end up facing them like 3 times, 2 in the regular season, once in the playoffs, because you never know what could happen. But in looking at the rest of the field, Minnesota, that's a scary thing. The Rams, as you mentioned as well. It makes things very, very interesting now with the 7th team in each conference.
Yes, it's very scary. It's nerve-wracking.
Before we go to our predictions for the Super Bowl, when Mike McCarthy was named the head coach, I know a lot of Cowboys fans who are thinking, okay, another retread coach. Why not find somebody younger? Why not go with Kellen Moore? Why not somebody else? So far, it's worked out well, especially, and it probably would have worked out well if Dak didn't get hurt last year. But to you, what do you feel that Mike McCarthy does well, especially with his pedigree as a Super Bowl winning coach as well?
Well, one thing that he definitely does well is he distributes the ball. Like, if you go back and look, Dak Prescott no longer only throws the ball to Amari Cooper, no longer only throws it to, CeeDee Lamb. Like, he distributes the ball real well. The play calling that's been going on as of late is great. I also love the fact that Mike McCarthy gives our offense chances to go for it on fourth down instead of always punting or always kicking the field goal. Like, if it's 4th and 2, I say you go for it. If our offense is already marching down the field, I say we go for it. He does that well. Real well.
As we go to the Super Bowl prediction, who do you have coming out of the NFC? Who do you have coming out of the AFC? Who wins the Super Bowl, and what's the final score?
If we had to go right now, I can't go with my Cowboys right now. I'm not liking the way they're playing at all. Not liking the way they're playing. If we're going right now, I would have to say I see Green Bay. And this is going to be a bold statement, but a lot of people, they've counted them out too early. I see Green Bay and Pat Mahomes. I say Pat Mahomes goes back again. I say Green Bay win 17-13.
You don't think it'll be a high-scoring game?
Nah, I don't think it's going to be. None of the games this season, towards the end of the season, have been high-scoring like that. Like Chiefs, Cowboys, 2 of the highest-scoring teams, 9-19. Like, it's just not been one of those seasons where people putting up a lot of points. I'm not fully sold on the Colts or Bills yet. I love Jonathan Taylor. I'm not fully sold on them to make the Super Bowl yet, though. They got to show me more.
And as we start to wrap this up, anyone you want to give shout-outs to, anything you want to promote as well, what are ways people can reach out to you on social media to talk Cowboys football?
You can always hit my page. I'm willing to talk sports. You can hit my inbox, however you want to do it. I'm willing to talk sports all day. I talk sports all day regardless. Don't really have any shout-outs. Shout-out to my family, Love y'all. Sharice. You hear in the background.